Quite a couple of games there in Tampa. Of course, a great win in the first game, and then even in that second game, I mean, that was a battle. You've got the lead in the third period; it gets away from you. Completely different from the two games that we talked about in Detroit, where there wasn't any bite. You had plenty of bite against Tampa, didn't you?
We played better the second game than the first game. I thought Elvis was the difference in the first game. I thought Vasilevsky was the difference in the second game. But our overall game and how we're trying to simplify things, I think through the two games we're pretty consistent.
How much of the way that you play against the Tampa Bay Lightning has to do with the fact that your team just doesn't like the Tampa Bay Lightning? I mean, they say that rivalries are born in the playoffs, and without question, there's one between the two franchises. In a season where you've had a lot of those rivalry games gone because you're not in the Metropolitan Division, there's no Pittsburgh, there's no Washington, there's no big games against Philly. To be able to play that team and straighten things out, how much did it help just to have that edge and that bite?
Yeah, we talked as a coaching staff after the really tough weekend against Detroit that it's happening for a reason, that we're going to be playing Tampa here for a couple of weeks because we play them again. We play them in a number more games here, and it just made me feel that we need to change how we play. We need to sink our teeth into one aspect of our game and try to improve on that and not worry about a number of other things that need to be fixed. As I said, that will not be fixed completely through this next month. There's just too many things that need to be fixed. So we grabbed a hold of ourselves and circled on one part of it, a part of it that we've always concentrated on versus Tampa. And we don't like them. I don't like them. We respect them, though. We respect them. That's the Stanley Cup winning team. That's a very good hockey club. And so we had to go about our business that way. And I think it happened for a reason, for us to simplify our game.
You've got to be sick of Braden Point, don't you? Great player, but you got to be sick of that guy.
Yeah. I'll never say I'm sick of him because I just love watching him play. I really do. And I know what you're saying, Bobby. I love watching him play. I don't like talking about the opponents that much. You know that, but I got time to talk about him because I think he's one of the top players in the National Hockey League. And he makes that team go. And we at times we think we have him at least contained a little bit, but he shows up quite a bit in how he damages us.
Yeah, no question. You're right. I like to watch him play too, but I like to watch him play against other teams. I don't like to watch him play against your team. Rough game for Boone Jenner. And when I mean rough, he just couldn't finish on any chances. This is a guy that is, I mean, at the beginning of the year when you were looking for scoring, he seemed to be one of the few guys that was getting the scoring, had some grade A opportunities. And it was just, can you feel it in a game like that when Hedman makes that stop of that shot on the goal line on the power play? Do you start to think, oh boy, this just might not be the night?
Well, you look at the team we're playing against. I think they're having problems scoring goals a little bit of late, but they're an explosive team. You know there's going to be a surge. You know they find ways to score goals. So when you're a team like us that just doesn't score a whole bunch, when you have those opportunities, you want them to go in. And Jens, although he hasn't scored of late, has generated a lot of offense. In games like that, we need more finish because there's going to be just what happened. I talked to an ex-player that I coached in Tampa and who was involved in that organization. That's the way they do it. That Vasilevsky holds them in when they have struggles, and they find a way to score goals. And that's the frustrating part, is how much we did generate, over 22 scoring chances, and still just come up with a couple where I think we need more against that team.
And it seems like your most consistent line here in the last couple of games anyway has been that Alexander Texier, Boone Jenner, Nick Foligno. That's been a good combination for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, Tex is playing like he played at the beginning of the year. He wants the puck. He's skating with the puck. He's skating out of trouble with the puck. He's making really good puck plays as far as passing. It's been a good line for us to especially to serve us in how we want to play. As I said, simplifying our game and getting back to how we want to play. I thought Domi's line First time being put together, I thought had an outstanding game. Need a little bit more from the other line. But we had a lot of people going last night. So a lot of good things come out of it. We're playing against another very good team down here in Florida. Got to get a good practice in today and get ready to play another game.
You remember, of course, the good old days when, as a coach, if you had a player that was underperforming, you could send them back down to the American Hockey League. You could send a message, send him there with a to-do list. And then if he did it, maybe he got a chance to come back. It would light a fire. You could use that as a tool to light a fire under players. That doesn't happen much anymore, just the way the game is. But maybe for Alexander Texier, that brief stint on the taxi squad served that same type of purpose.
Yeah. It doesn't hurt a guy to watch. I thought Tex was trying. He forgot that he when he was trying early in the year, he was making a difference. He'd show up in every shift. He just seemed to be watching a little bit too much. I think he got a little tentative in his game as far as wanting the puck. That happens. Again, we put an abundance amount of responsibility on him as far as our center ice position. And it can fluctuate this way, Bobby, with a young guy. I really like the way he agitates the other team. He's finishing his checks, and he's making a lot of good puck plays. So hopefully it'll continue.
You mentioned Max Domi, and I would just like to know when you were putting together lines, because a couple of games ago you told me, I don't know how much longer I can rob Peter to pay Paul. You come up with Domi in the middle, Line A on one side, and Eric Robinson on the other side, which in some ways seems surprising. In other ways, you utilize his speed. Heck, he gets a goal for you there against the Tampa Bay Lightning. What was your thought process when you decided that trio should play together?
Yeah, it's this. I have Jack playing between Cam and Borky. I've tried a number of other people with Patty, Stens, Nasher, all through there. I need to find someone to play with Patty. So I am going to play Max at center I don't want to say forever because when I say that, then I end up changing it. But I want to give Max he's developed his game. I need to get someone to play with Patty. And Robbie, everybody talks about Robbie. What's he doing there? He's a fourth line guy. He's this, he's that. But he shows up on my screen 3/4 of the game doing good things. Do we want him to handle the puck better? Sure. Do we want him to make better reads? Sure. Are there things he needs to improve his game? Sure. But he shows up a lot more than some of the other guys that you would think on our team that should be showing up. So we put him there, especially with the speed, Bobby, and chasing down the puck. So Patty doesn't have to do a lot of that. And it worked. But it worked for one game. As for the team, we've played a couple of good games. This is where I want us to grow. I want us to continue playing the right way. And I want Max's line to continue to play in the right way. And no matter what the result is, we got to show up every night and try to play the right way.
Hey, thanks for passing along my message to Patrick Laine to please start shooting the puck. He finally did that in that game.
Yeah, Patty, it was, he comes up empty on the score sheet, goals or assists. But that was easily his best game he's played for us since he's been here. And he was scored a lot of goals for us early on. But that's easily the best game he's played for us. He was engaged. That's the most engaged I've seen him in a hockey game. He had a lot to do with that line working too. We talk about Max and Robbie. Patty had a lot to do with that line working.
Where are you at with Jack Roslovic right now? Some games, some shifts, he looks really good. Other shifts, he looks like he's kind of just cruising out there. Or I'm sure you notice those same things. Still a work in progress with Jack, isn't it?
Still a work in progress. Yeah. And that's the way I'll leave it.
All right. Mikko Lehtinen, you put him in 2 games ago. What I've noticed about him is, I've noticed him, like you said about Eric Robinson. You notice the guy, he gets his shots to the net. I think one thing that is when you get a new guy in this day and age, especially, you automatically think, oh, young guy coming over from Europe. No, this is a 27-year-old guy. He was the defenseman of the year in the KHL. What's he brought to your team the last couple of games?
He competes, Bobby. He's got a game face. He competes. He takes hits. Can move a puck. I think as the younger players see him, I said this the other day, I watched him prepare for the game and the amount of things he does to prepare for a hockey game. I hope our young guys watch him because he's all business. And I've been very impressed with him. He stands right in there. The way the league is now, you really can't hold up players on forechecks. Defensemen have to take a lot of hits. He's not big, and for the guy that his size, he's willing to do anything to help this team and move this puck out of our end zone. And that means you're taking hits. So I've been very impressed with him, and hopefully it'll continue as you keep on moving along here.
Well, you do have some depth now, and I know you've constantly moved guys in and out of the lineup, but you used basically the same lineup? Basically, I say Nash was out in one, he was in the second game in Tampa. But are you at the point where maybe it's just rotating one guy in and out from here on out? How would you like for that to play out?
Yeah, on the back end, I don't want to lose sight of Carly in developing him, and Michael Delzato's done a lot of good things for us this year. That's where you might see some rotating in the positions. On the forward positions, I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. I saw some really good things in Mac and in Stenz at certain times, but they're just not ready to steady it. They're not ready to stay consistent with it. And I don't think it's through lack of effort. I think it's lack of experience. And quite honestly, some of the roles that, I've put Stenz in a pretty major role. I'm not sure if he's ready for that. What I like to see with those guys that have been in and out of the lineup, I don't want to see players play at a level, and if they have a bad game, they can drop off a little bit. I just don't want to see them drop off the mountain. And I think that's what's happened a couple of times with Stenz and Mac. And so I'm still not sure what the forward lines, what it looks like, but I'm pretty comfortable right now when my thinking is trying to keep Max in the middle of the ice. And we'll see what our lineup is tomorrow.
Does Zach Dalpe bring you that experience? And you're talking about some young guys making adjustments. Zach's been around the league for a while. He's played a lot of time in the American Hockey League. You had him in Vancouver. You've got him here. Does he give you a little bit of stability when he's in your lineup?
Yeah, he'll be a good fourth line guy for us. He can skate. He's willing to battle. He's been around the game long enough, like you say, that he understands momentums and stuff like that. I'm not sure what I played him last night, but I feel comfortable putting him in. If I get the right matchups, I feel comfortable putting him in the game. And I think he's really good for our line because he's just a good, solid pro too, and knows how to handle himself. So, he waited his turn. I wasn't sure if he was going to get his turn. I told him to stay patient, and guys just didn't, completely stay in the lineup through their play. And Dobbs gets his chance. I'm going to keep him in there for the next game also.
And he's a guy, it's a great story because he had that injury not that long ago. And, he even said, I didn't know if I'd ever play the game again. He was at the point his wife was helping him in and out of bed. And I know none of that factors into you putting a guy into a lineup, but I also feel that knowing you as a person, when you get a chance and when the guy responds and plays well, that would make you feel good, giving a guy maybe another chance that he never thought that he might have in the National Hockey League.
He hadn't played much hockey coming into this. We can't even call it camp, call it season. He hadn't played much because of the injury. So I've known him for a long time. I do put stock into character, how they handle themselves. I think that's really important. And I hope it continues for him because he's a guy you pull for.
Last thing I have for you is Korpisalo was back on your bench last night. He was the backup, so I'm assuming that he's good and he's ready to go. And I would also assume, but you'll correct me if I'm wrong, that you could use both guys this weekend.
I could use both guys this weekend. We'll see how it goes.
Very good. I knew I would get that.
Bobby.
I knew I would get that politically correct answer from you, and that's what I was shooting for. So thank you.
No, you weren't. You really weren't shooting for that.
No, I was. Listen, I know what I'm going to get out of you. After 6 years, I've got a pretty good idea what I'm going to get out of you. Once in a while, you surprise me. That answer, that does not surprise me.
All right, Bobby.
Torts, thank you very much. Best of luck against the Panthers. Talk to you back at home.
Take care, man.